Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Roberts. We begin tonight in the Northwest Territories, where a judge has ordered a 7-month hold on bidding for a major government project in Inuvik. The bidding is on a contract worth more than $40 million. It's to build a new terminal at the Inuvik airport. The CBC's Tamara Merritt reports.
An injunction, which halted bids for construction at the Inuvik airport, was granted Friday. The airport is located in the Gwich'in settlement region, but bidding on the new terminal building has been open to the public. The territorial government says this was done to ensure fairness and transparency. Yet, the Gwich'in Tribal Council says preferential treatment must be given to Gwich'in businesses under the Gwich'in Land Claim Agreement and the government's duty to consult. The court-ordered hold on bidding was made to allow for a judicial review. The courts have until the end of March to make a judgment in the dispute. If no judgment is reached, the Gwich'in Tribal Council can apply to have the injunction extended. Tamara Merritt, CBC News, Yellowknife.
A new company just bought a gold project in the Yukon, and the buyer says it wants to open a mine. The Coffee Gold Project is south of Dawson City. It was the longtime asset of a multinational company called Newmont Corporation. But Newmont didn't advance the project to production, even though it passed an environmental assessment 3 years ago. The new buyer is a Vancouver-based company called Fiorte Metals. Fiorte's CEO says they want to build their company around the Coffee Gold Project.
I would say it's probably a lot closer to being a mine than most people think. And so, we are really hoping to have all the pieces in place to make a decision on whether or not we're going to build a mine there. And of course, going into this, assuming that we will do that by the end of next year. So by the end of 26, we'll have what's called a feasibility study done. We're hoping that the permits will either be well advanced or complete, and that we'll have the financing in place as well to build the mine.
The Coffee Gold Project sold for $205 million. Most of that will be paid in stock and royalties. Power companies in the Northwest Territories are being told to come up with a long-term plan, a plan to use more renewable energy for power generation. It's a directive from the NWT government, but power companies say that could cause unintended problems, including the possibility of more expensive power rates. Luke Carroll has more.
The NWT government wants power companies to increase their cap on renewable energy from 20% to 30%. It says residents should be encouraged to switch to hydroelectricity from heating fuel and use financial incentives to encourage that switch. But the Northwest Territories Power Corporation had previously said power supply transition shouldn't be rushed. It says moving too fast to renewables could mean more electricity rate spikes, especially with recent low water levels interrupting hydropower and forcing the territory to use more diesel. The directive was sent in April 2025 in a letter from the territorial government to the Public Utilities Board, the NWT's energy regulator. The plan is required to take into account climate targets for 2030 and 2050. NTPC and Naka Power have until November 17th to submit information used to create an initial plan for how to use more renewable power. Luke Carroll, CBC News, Yellowknife.
The Yukon government is wrapping up work to remove possible lead contamination from school drinking water. Earlier this year, the government announced it found all but 8 schools or programs in the Yukon needed work due to lead contamination. The Department of Education said test results did not suggest students and staff were being exposed to unhealthy levels of lead. Since then, the Yukon government has been working to address the issue.
In all schools, there's multiple drinking water sources. You can count on going to any drinking fountain, water bottle fill station, and kitchen sink. They all meet Health Canada's guidelines for drinking water.
The Yukon government is rolling out a long-term strategy to monitor drinking water in schools, according to Namath. He says the territory is planning to test water in all schools this year and follow this up with testing every 3 years. The territory budgeted $50,000 for this year and next to to go towards fixtures and testing related to the problem. Nunavik's public health director is sounding the alarm over rising tuberculosis cases in the region. The Regional Board of Health and Social Services says 83 cases of TB have been confirmed this year. The board says the rate is expected to exceed 800 cases per 100,000 people, making it one of the highest in the world. Nunavik's public health director says the current situation is alarming.
Tuberculosis is not new in Nunavik, but the rates that we see are increasing and are reaching incidence rates that you see in the worst hit countries of Africa.
Wimay says if more money is not directed to fighting the disease and the healthcare system can't increase its capacity, the situation will get worse. Nunavut are still feeling the pain from a triple tragedy in Pond Inlet 2 months after it happened. The territory's health minister says there were 3 suicides in July, one after another. Those losses have prompted a renewed effort to address the territory's suicide crisis. Samuel Watt has more.
A warning, this next story discusses suicide. Verna Strickland was preparing for a wedding just a week before she lost a young relative to suicide in July.
Putting up balloons and having fun.
She describes the 13-year-old boy as a funny, outgoing kid, a good older brother and son, and an avid hunter.
Overall, he was just a kid with a lot of potential.
Health Minister John Main says there were 3 suicides in Pond Inlet around that time. Between 2010 and 2024, 458 people died by suicide in Nunavut. July's deaths came just weeks after the territorial government again declared suicide a crisis.
Every consecutive tragedy, serves to just underline the urgency and underline the need for action.
Main says there was immediate support from multiple agencies that included flying people out of the community for monitoring and care, but he stresses the government's work is not done.
We want to make it very clear to Nunavut that we're not just talking about this, that we're taking action.
One of those action items, he says, is the RCMP's new efforts to educate people about safe storage of firearms and medication. He also wants to introduce more land programs and housing support. Concerns about Nunavut suicide rates are also reaching Ottawa.
They need more support and training for counseling services using Inuvik, helping each other, loving each other. We will reach better times.
Strickland appreciates there's no easy solution, but she says she's tired of trying to operate in broken systems which are disconnected from the Inuit way of life.
We're losing our children, we're losing our future, and we refuse to stay silent.
Samuel Watt, CBC News, Yellowknife.
If you or someone you know is struggling, there's help. You can call the Nunavut Kamatsiaktut helpline at 1-867-979-3333 or toll free at 1-800-265-3333. You can also call the Suicide Crisis Helpline by dialing 988. Both lines are available 24/7.
Take a voyage with me to the vast, remote, most extreme place on Earth.
For many, this will be a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Where the effects of climate change are intensifying.
The poles are a very rapidly changing place.
And geopolitical cracks threaten peace and stability.
Do you think there's a security concern?
I definitely do.
Experience the historic all-Canadian mission. CBC in Antarctica. Watch free on CBC Gem.
Want to get the most out of CBC News? Use the app or cbcnews.ca for live breaking news on the stories that matter to you. Whether it's local, national, or around the world, turn to CBC News.
The future is everything. Stories of incredible ingenuity, dedication, and some extraordinary teamwork. This is parenthood.
It makes sense that they get a larger share, or does it?
Welcome to the Greenbelt.
All of this, just single detached homes?
Yes.
What do we know? I think we can explain.
About that with Andrew Chang.
Although the NBA currently is flooded with Canadian players, this was not a reality.
A new immigration law.
This story is directly tied to all those families who made a brave choice to come to this country.
My favorite word.
Tariff! How seriously are you taking this threat?
It's the uncertainty that's the biggest issue.
Canada, we got you.
Elbows up!
The government of Nunavut has closed the Baffin Island caribou harvest in Kimmirut for this year. It comes after the community reached its limit of 51 harvested animals. Hunters are reminded to report all animals harvested to the Wildlife Office. Further harvesting this year is prohibited. A formidable Yukoner died this week. We spoke a bit about Ione Christensen yesterday on the show. The trailblazer died at the age of 91 after living an incredibly full life. She was the first female mayor of Whitehorse, commissioner of the Yukon, and senator. She also kept a sourdough starter that came over the Chilkoot Pass with her great-grandfather during the Klondike Gold Rush. And she gave a bit of the starter to most everyone she met.
I think you have to describe her as a person who accomplished so much. I don't think you put it down to a single accomplishment, to be honest. I mean, you know, she was a senator, you know, first woman mayor, she was a judge. I mean, she did it all. And to wrap it up and say, well, this is more important than the others, her life was important, and every step of the way in her life was a phenomenal accomplishment. And I think that's one of the things we have to recognize is there's so much. This program could go on for a long time discussing it.
Flags at the Jim Smith Building and Taylor House are being flown at half-mast for 7 days to honor Ione Christensen's life. In the Northwest Territories, Salt River First Nation has officially opened a new subdivision in Fort Smith. The housing project has been years in the making. Carla Ulrich reports.
Because we are part of the town, and we will grow together.
Salt River First Nations chief says its new housing project marks a milestone. Roadwork for the long-awaited subdivision began 3 years ago. 4 modular homes have gone up in the last year, and 6 single elder units are expected to be available next year. The nation calls it a turning point and an invitation for members to return home.
Today, when we look at what we have achieved, I think the planning is right. We see a vast grounds for development. We see some houses that are on the ground now. We see a beautiful road that goes through here, and it's just going to continue.
NWT's premier says the project shows what First Nations can achieve with community development.
This is what we're working towards in the North. This is an example of a First Nation exercising their rights, using their land, and exercising showing self-determination. And so this is important for the current residents who need a place to go, who need a home, for the next generation who is considering maybe going to school and wondering if they want to come back to the community.
Chief Tony Heron says families will be able to move into the 4 available units as soon as water hookups are complete. She says other projects are in the works. They include a youth enrichment center expected to be completed next year and a community wellness center in the former men's correctional building. The center is meant to house residents waiting for a spot in a treatment program or for those returning home from treatment outside the NWT.
we want to encourage our members, come on home. That's my goal. And I would love to see our young people, really prosper in not only their education, but just to prosper in every way possible. That's my goal.
Heron says Salt River First Nation is focused on developing long-term local support for members. And with an election coming up in November, she hopes the elected chief continues what's been started. Carla Ulrich, CBC News, Fort Smith.
Most of us across the country were feeling the heat this summer. And while super hot days are relaxing for some, they can be risky for others. Now, a new report suggests almost everyone on the planet has been feeling the effects of climate change. Anand Ram has more.
The U.S.-based nonprofit Climate Central crunched data for almost 1,000 cities around the world and found that nearly 1 billion people, mostly in Asia, experienced 30 or more risky heat days this summer.
We defined risky heat as being heat that is hotter than 90% of the temperatures you typically experience in your local area. So that looks different if you're sitting in Toronto than it does if you're sitting in San Diego or Los Angeles.
And that's important because the risks of health issues, even death, are different depending on the environment that you're used to. And so when it's hotter than it typically is 90% of the time, that's a better indicator of risk. According to the analysis, Canada, from June through August of this year, on average saw 39 risky heat days. 2 of those weeks, Climate Central says, is directly attributable to human-caused climate change.
We expect June, July, August to be the times of year when people experience these risky heat days. Some of that is natural, but climate change is loading the dice.
The big message here is clear. Climate change is reshaping the odds of daily weather in Canada, and people feel it most directly through extreme heat.
And some feel it more than others. People who are older, people who have underlying health issues like cardiovascular issues or diabetes, or children, the heat can be far more intense, even kill. We saw that in 2021, where more than 600 people died in British Columbia when a heat dome parked over the region. But risk, experts say, goes beyond people's health.
What is their ability to adapt in this situation? And that includes having air conditioning, having a job where even if they're in the heat, are able to get out of the heat through policies that protect outdoor workers. Thinking about your social capital. So what's your community that you can rely on when it is hot, if you do get into a dangerous situation?
And experts say this is part of a feedback loop. Hotter days means more drought conditions. More drought conditions leads to drier fuel that make wildfires spread. And spreading wildfires increases emissions that adds to global warming, which raises the chances of hotter days. So the heat that Canadians and the world felt this summer could have effects for years to come. Anand Ram, CBC News, Toronto.
Yukon was also included in that report from Climate Central. Researchers say the territory experienced higher than normal temperatures this summer by nearly 1 degree. As we told you, Climate Central tracked heat across nearly 1,000 cities, including Whitehorse. It also looked at the Yukon more broadly. The report suggests that extreme heat could already be having implications, both on the environment and people.
What happens in these northern areas is really, it's kind of a bellwether for what the rest of the globe is going to be experiencing. But they're also, just really fragile ecosystems that can be affected. And so I do think it's important to think about how these more northern territories are being affected by climate change in ways that are different and often more severely and profound than lower latitude areas.
Scientists looked at data from June to August. The Yukon saw a couple of heat waves during those months. The report says temperatures across the territory were 90% hotter than historical averages for about 3 weeks. And scientists have been keeping a close eye on the Pacific Ocean, where conditions are pointing toward a La Nina event in the next few months. As Johanna Wagstaff explains, it could have a big impact on fall and winter weather in parts of Canada.
This just in, a La Nina watch issued for the Pacific Ocean. This is one of our best clues about what kind of fall and winter we might see in Canada, especially Western Canada. So in a typical La Nina, BC tends to get cooler than usual with more snow in the mountains. Meanwhile, the prairies might see wetter conditions, and the Great Lakes and Eastern Canada can get stormier. Curious about how it works? It's all about the Pacific Ocean temperatures, specifically the equatorial Pacific. Both El Nino, her popular sibling, and La Nina are climate patterns. Meteorologists are always keeping an eye on this. El Nino is the warm phase with above average sea surface temperatures and weakened trade winds. Those are those steady east to west winds near the equator, driven partly by the Earth's rotation. And yes, sailors used to use them to hightail it to the Americas back in the day. La Nina is the cold phase with below average sea surface temperatures due to stronger trade winds. Basically, the stronger the winds, the more shoving of that warm surface water out of the way happens, and the upwelling of colder water to the surface can happen. So NOAA monitors these temperatures because they can have ripple effects all over the world and can tip the odds for droughts, storms, or heat waves. Not a guarantee, but a good clue. And these swings, by the way, happen on top of climate change. So La Nina doesn't cancel out global warming. It just means our whole baseline is shifting warmer. So right now, NOAA says we are likely to move from neutral conditions, that's where we're at right now, to La Nina in the next couple of months. They're forecasting a 71% chance of a La Nina October through December 2025. The heads up is for ski resorts, farmers, energy planners, and public health agencies. La Nina is not just an ocean thing, it's a sneak peek into the season ahead. And now you've got your heads up.
That was the CBC's Joanna Wagstaff. The Bank of Canada has lowered its key interest rate by a quarter point to 2.5%. Governor Tiff Macklem says the threat of inflation has eased, but U.S. trade uncertainty and tariffs are still affecting the Canadian economic outlook. Nisha Patel reports.
The Bank of Canada is cutting its key interest rate for the first time in 6 months.
There was a clear sense that the balance of risk has shifted.
The benchmark rate is now 25 basis points lower, sitting at 2.5%. The central bank says the threat of inflation has eased, with the overall rate hitting 1.9% last month. But the trade war with the U.S. is weighing on the economy.
Certainly when you talk to businesses, they're telling us they're facing a host of new costs related to trade disruption. They're trying to change their supply chains, they're finding new suppliers, they're trying to develop new markets.
With steep tariffs on autos, steel, and aluminum, exports and business investment have fallen. Since the trade war started, this Ontario manufacturing company says sales are down 25%.
I think the industry in general is hurting pretty bad. The manufacturing in Canada has really no good stories to tell at this point.
Those sectors most exposed to trade are shedding jobs, helping drive Canada's unemployment rate up to 7.1%. A resolution to the uncertainty could be a long way off.
The bottom line is we should still expect some economic weakness in the quarters ahead, but it might be coming from different sources. And the Bank of Canada's view is it probably isn't a recession and it's probably just sluggish growth.
So lower interest rates will make it cheaper for businesses and consumers to borrow money and perhaps give the economy a bit of a boost. The central bank says there are still considerable risks to the economy and it plans to proceed carefully for any future interest rate decisions. Many economists expect at least one interest rate cut by the end of the year. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
A new immersive art installation in Montreal is drawing people in and encouraging them to explore their dreams. It's the creation of two artists from the Atikamekw First Nation. They built 6 enormous dream catchers representing the 6 seasons, not 4, that their culture recognizes. The CBC's Atifa Padidar checked it out.
An open-air art installation where light, sound, and memory guide visitors on a journey. It's called Veji Kunino.
After a dream, the lights gonna pass in the middle, and all the nightmares they're gonna stuck in the web. So it's to take time to think about that and keep in her heart the good dreams and let go the nightmares and to be better human.
As you move through each of these dream catchers, you also move through time, from pre-winter to autumn. For the artists, it's about more than seasons. It's about territory, memory, and connection. Each dream catcher becomes a doorway, blending ancestral stories with light and sound.
Imagine the travel with the ancestry person, a grandfather, old grandfather, to walk with different season and take the dream to create this installation. For me, the dream is it's the most important in my life.
In the heart of the city, these dream catchers hold more than light. They carry memory, territory, and stories that have been passed down for generations.
Here, art becomes a bridge between past and present, inviting us all to slow down and listen.
Atefe Padidar, CBC News, Montreal.
The third annual CBC Kids Reads contest has announced its finalists. CBC Kids Reads celebrates 5 of Canada's best picture books, and one of the finalists this year is from the North. Ashley Kilibuk-Savard is an Inuk artist and writer from Iqaluit. Her book is called I Am a Rock. It was inspired by a dream she had in Inuktitut while studying the language.
I was in this program, and this was the first dream I had in Inuktitut that I remembered, and I was surrounded in a room with amazing, talented Inuit female artists.
The dream led to a story about a boy and his pet rock. It's full of imagery that'll be familiar to children raised in the Arctic. Kilibuk-Savard was excited to hear that North of North's Anna Lamb will read her book during a special half hour on CBC TV.
It's one of those very proud moments to have, to be supported by other Inuit and other Inuit women too, very specifically. Really gratifying. It feels like uplifting and empowering. So I'm really thankful for Anna for taking that on.
That special half-hour reading will air on CBC on October 4th. Now, let's take a look at the weather. And that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/north. Thank you for watching. I'm Megan Roberts. Have a good night.